Welcome to episode 3 of Starting Drama. My third guest, third guest, Benjamin Pompelli, here with me this week, and he's going to start us off with our beautiful way we run these with ads.
Absolutely. Happy to be here, but before we go any further, I think it's necessary to shout out to Pampers. Pampers Baby Cruisers, nothing hugs better and nothing's more absorbent. Also, Gerber Food. Very important to set your baby up for Gerber Life Plan. Want to make sure that you're saving for their college as early as one day, and that can be as low as 5 cents per month.
College with the baby food.
Absolutely. I think they go hand in hand.
Wow, that's big time. Well, we're gonna dive right into these matchups this week, which are just a load of crap, if you ask me. So
I think rightfully so. I think we start with the matchup of the week.
I mean, it has to be combined 212 points.
Yeah.
It's a big week. I went to bed knowing I was going to lose, having to get up at 5:45 the next morning and just already being pissed.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign.
Also, shout-outs to Luke on the group me. I did believe on the first play of the drive, obviously I was referring to the Caleb Elliott all-time Tier 2 champion matchup, slot shaming. And Luke said it best. Opening drive, a 50-yard pass to no other but Julio Jones to put him at 5.6 within the first 3 minutes. And all that he needed was a combined with Mason Crosby, I think 12 points altogether. Things were looking really bad. Bad. But
I knew better.
Caleb
as our former guest Luke Stoltz, we talked about your luck. And your luck status, and
I was surprised to see that Luke was saying opposite of what we know to be true about.
I wouldn't trick that whole time. I knew the outcome before it began. Okay. So we're gonna just skip over that trash. We're gonna dive right into Tristan Nosek versus Eric Johnson, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Eric Johnson pulls off the W this week. Tristan's struggling.
Yeah, and I think everybody needs to keep an eye out for the power rankings, as there's going to be a thorough breakdown on the Nosek team. But do you panic here with Team Nosek? Do you panic? And I think the big question here is, what do you do with Le'Veon Bell? Still a lot of potential out there, a lot of trade value still, even though Le'Veon does not seem to produce in the way that he did last year.
Right.
But do you try to let him go early to get your team some core pieces?
He's got stars. He's got the talent factor on his team. You know, he has Le'Veon, Matt Ryan. He has Doug Baldwin, who's the number one in Seattle. He has Brandon Cooks, who
exists on the New England team.
You think he's got the upside, but they're just not producing. They're not producing right now. His best player is his kicker, so that's never a good sign. And, you know, he's had winnable games.
Yeah.
Those winnable games, you know, those teams on your calendar, you got to chalk it up and you got to steal those W's when you can, because, you know, when he has to play teams who are, you know, throwing down that 100-burger, which Eric can put up 100 points, and, you know, this was his chance to grab that from Eric, and he didn't do it. Eric, he turned out better, but he has the stars too. Jameis is back. LaShawn McCoy. Diggs hasn't put up as much as, you know, he did in that first breakout game. Kelsey had a good game. Marshawn putting up solid numbers. So he's got the people putting up numbers. You just, you know, want them to all put it together at the same time.
Absolutely. I think you couldn't say it better. I think obviously whenever you look actually to the let's see, what are they called? Power rankings. I think actually the person who writes those actually said the same thing. Yeah, I think he actually said to be able to in-sync the Newton team is going to be able to punish people. Now, I don't know about the Nosek team. If everybody syncs up, then you got spurts from Matt Forte, Tyler Eifert. I think the Bengals need to get their crap together so that their team can flourish with Andy Dalton, Tyler Eifert, and even those running backs in the backfield. But that being said, I will say that Matt Ryan is a good piece, and he continues to look better and better every single game, and against Green Bay, looking as good as he did, I think is a good sign for Matt Ryan. But while we were talking about Team Nosek, I think it is important to at least discuss the trade that slipped through.
Ooh,
the trade
wow.
that nobody saw coming, and it happened anyways. And that was Gronky Kong and Team Nosek. Gronky Kong trading Emmanuel Sanders, hot off of a big game, and playing for the Denver Broncos, his favorite team.
Wow.
And, pairing him with Chris Carson,
Yeah.
someone he picked off the waiver wire. Trading Team Nosek for Doug Baldwin and Adrian Peterson, which you mentioned before. Doug Baldwin was the number 1 in Seattle.
So are we just promoting your show right now and doing like your show in this show, or are we?
No, we're not. This is a trade.
Oh, okay.
But we did mention the waiver wire pickup there.
Okay, I'm just wondering.
But yeah, what do you think is going through Gronky Kong's mind here as he trades away Emmanuel Sanders for the Doug Baldwin pick?
I think he just likes movement.
His movement.
He likes it. He's the opposite of Danny Ainge. Instead of racking up those picks, he just wants new faces, new places. And, it could work out and could not. It could go either way. But it's okay because the next week he'll have a new team. So that's good.
Absolutely.
We'll move on to our next matchup, the Bright Debaters and Gronky Kong, the aforementioned. What are you going to do? I mean, one of those weeks you just get a tough draw.
Yeah. I've got some good information on this. I've got a good scoop on the Bright Debaters. Yeah, it's unfortunate for the Bright Debaters to run into the highest score of the week. That's really unfortunate. 125.2 points. It's no juggernaut Luke Stoltz jitterbug, but it is a substantial amount. And so you hate to run into that, and you hate to run into just a steady offense with Ty Montgomery. You hate to run into Melvin Gordon still doing his thing, and then you obviously hate to see 3 touchdown grabs from Michael Crabtree.
Who's a sorry-ass receiver.
I would actually completely agree. says
Richard Sherman, Sherman. What are you going to do?
And Gronkowski finally comes alive. So you're really running into a full tidal wave here. I mean, down the line, it does read 23, 26, 18.2, 17.6. So, I mean,
that's rough.
That is rough. But I will say, when you look at the Bright Debaters team, they have pieces.
They
have pieces.
Mike Evans comes back and puts up the solid numbers you think he would put up. Aaron Rodgers, not the best game, but he still put up solid numbers. And when you do matchup-wise, he outscored Gronky Kong's quarterback, which is big. But those running back situation it's hurtful.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure he has a lot of trust issues. Especially when you're looking on your bench and Darren Sproles put up 5.8, and he would have been better off with that. That can't feel good.
You also have to ask, can Larry Fitzgerald keep turning back the clock? Can he do it again for another clock? We're looking for the Arizona's offense to just get rolling in the first place.
Yeah, is it really him, or is it for Carson Palmer to turn back the clock? Because between them, they're going to be starting in the Mummy Returns.
For that conversation, we're going to have to go to Connor Fulkerson.
That's big. That's big.
In the meantime, we can at least ask the question, Larry Fitzgerald not turning back the clock. Obviously, their offense being in fits can being completely out of sync because they lost a guy named David Johnson, which I think, he's unnecessary for any fantasy football team at all. But
Connor, feel free to call in on the Shell Pennzoil Performance line. Shell, it's great. So feel free to call in. You have our numbers. So we'll keep it moving. Hop off my D-Tiz.
Great name, Gideon. Great name.
If you're going to go with that, I think you should win. Going against the inglorious Bradfords.
Well, see, that's the thing. You like to back that up, and at first notice, it does look like he's going to back it up with a whopping 30 points from Tom Brady.
It's a good feel. It's a good start.
But everybody else poops the sheets.
He kept chipping away. At that lead. J.J. solid 12.6. Demarius and his receivers, nothing crazy. Devontae Adams gets that TD. Denver D played great. So he just everyone put up numbers where you don't have that big old goose egg from someone like LeGarrette Blount for Gideon, put up a whopping 0. Greg Olsen breaks his foot.
Yeah.
So that's not good. And
big deal for him moving forward.
Yeah, his kicker was his second highest score.
Never good news.
Never good news. Colby Fleener catch another TD, had him on the bench. So.
Yeah, and on the bench topic, not to shy away from this point, but Inglourious Bradford's won. He could have won by another 10, 12, 13 points with Chris Thompson sitting on the bench. So I look for Chris Thompson to have a big game next week against Connor, but we'll get to that at a later segment.
If he chooses to play.
Right, if he chooses to play, because on the bench he does perform very well.
He does.
I will also say it's nice to see from Inglorious Bradford's coming off of the lowest score of the whole entire league, 50.7, to produce a solid 90.5, really sparks the team. And I think that's what a bounce back looks like. I really do think that's what a bounce back looks like. So, yeah, I think we all can take a deep breath on the Tisver team, the Inglorious Bradfords, and say, okay, we'll work with it.
Right.
I will say, just knowledge brewing in my head, there was $40 spent on Tyrod Taylor, who did sit the bench. We ask questions. That's all we do around here. It's no big deal. I just want to say it how it is.
Good thing he's not gambling with my money.
Right.
Next matchup, we got the 8th year team name Slovenia Finest versus My Cool Squad. Man, first thing pops out is those running backs. Solid 22 from Devontae Freeman. Todd Gurley turning back the clock to rookie year, 23.6, and nothing else really matters.
Yeah, I've got some notable things on Slovenia's Finest here. Definitely looking for Connor to do something about that tight end spot. Not sure what the move is, whether there's trade talks or waiver moves, but I think Hooper is a big pooper. So apart from that, I definitely see that Freeman is a beneficiary of an amazing Atlanta offense because Coleman also racked up close to 11 points himself. So when you're splitting backs and they're getting that many points.
And Julio doesn't score a TD.
Well, yeah, because they were running the ball, and they did it effectively the whole entire game. But yeah, you like to see Amir Abdullah coming up with an 8.6, but obviously Todd Gurley.
Maybe he'll start just not playing a defense. I think he'd be better off.
Back-to-back weeks now of being able to produce points out of the defensive side of the ball.
It's Jacksonville. Okay.
Yeah. I will say there is a healthy competition between Carson Palmer and Matt Stafford for Connor's leading spot. Really think that's interesting moving forward. We'll keep our eyes on it.
Yeah, I let Carson Palmer go. Got that solid Alex Smith back up for absolutely nothing.
Wow,
that's
very good.
So I got that going for me.
Very efficient.
Let me know. He's going for picks.
Yeah, as we look in the cool squad, a few things that I do want to note is that there's not too many notes. It's just Fournette and Kirk Cousins if he wants to come alive. So
you
my
like
cool
that?
Squad, I don't like it, honestly. I don't like that my Bilal Powell is scoring 1.3. I don't like that Jimmy Graham is he's made out of glass, and it doesn't look like he's going to have a very good season. It's questionable for next Sunday. So keep your eyes on Jimmy Graham this coming up week. Randall Cobb looked pretty good, but I think My Cool Moves needs to make some cool moves.
It's definitely squad, but I like what you did there.
Yeah.
Okay. And the last matchup of the week. Jitterbug, going back to regular human form, but still putting up a solid week. And, to the poor Mel Gibson horse hunters.
Yeah.
You got to feel bad for the guy. It's not that he put up some crazy numbers, but he's definitely got a bad draw of points against so far.
Yeah.
So, it's
he's
rough.
going up against a good all-tier team 2 champion next week. So you really got to worry for Mel Gibson whether or not he's going to
that dreaded 0-3 start.
Yeah, that's not
the percentage to make the playoffs after you start 0-3, I believe, is at 7.5.
Something even Team Jitterbug last season could not overcome.
Yes.
Opened up a 0-3 and
a solid 1-2 punch at the running back with Le'Veon Bell and David Johnson could not save him, even with Tom Brady at quarterback. And it was a dumpster fire. It might be a forcible change of the team name when we get to 0-5.
Do want to note that Caleb Drama Elliott here did in fact have Mel Gibson Horse Hunters as his upset of the week.
StoneCold Lock.
Absolutely, StoneCold Lock,
Keystone,
nothing wrong.
Keystone Light, cold as the Rockies.
So smooth.
Wait,
smooth.
That's wrong. I don't know my light beer.
But I will say, Mel Gibson, he gave it a run for the money. I will say, bold move with Joe Flacco, but it didn't matter anyways.
Shane Falco, Keanu Reeves. Shane Falco in there.
I will say, duly noted, first ever in my lifetime. In fantasy football that I've ever seen Zeke Elliott actually just do bad. And so to Brad's defense, there's nothing you can do about Zeke Elliott actually putting 2.2 points up. I don't think
but
you worry
to
about
pull
it,
the Connor, You got Jordy Nelson putting up a solid 0 due to injury. And so you got a 2.2 between Zeke Elliott and Jordy Nelson. Let's say one puts up 20, one puts up 10. That's 30 points. You still lose.
Yep.
So if that makes you feel any better, probably doesn't, but I'm trying to help.
Yep. Man. And again, the Jitterbugs team here, looking at it, I mean, Derek Carr, golly. I mean, just a stud and a half, really doing his job as the fill-in role for Andrew Luck while he sits on the bench on the IR. So
I think the big thing is he hasn't made really any mistakes with who to play.
Absolutely.
You know, Antonio Brown and Tyreek Hill didn't put up as much as some of the receivers on his bench, but not a drastic difference. And, you know, after Tyreek Hill's first week and Antonio Brown, you're never going to sit him. So besides that, like, he's playing the right people, and you're not having any drastic differences between the bench and his starters.
Big question to be asking Luke Stoltz throughout this league is, he'll be playoff bound. There's no doubt about that. But I hope he's doing good in his other leagues. That's what I hope. I hope that he really racks up this season and just really takes home a lot of bread. But
straight cash, homie.
We want to move on. I want to segue here a little bit. Before we do that, do want to mention Domino's. Great pizza choice. They still are running that coupon that the Waiver Wire Entertainment did mention before. $19.99. You get your choice of 2 single topping medium pizzas. A fantastic deal, but that's not enough.
Are you a pineapple guy?
In Hawaiian guy? No, not really.
No,
I mean, it does sweeten up the pizza, but
you're a freak.
Also, your choice of garlic knots and cinnamon twist and a 2-liter. I'm just saying. Domino's.
Wow. So we're gonna segue into a little new segment, and we're gonna go through these divisions because it's time to complain.
Absolutely.
First, we're gonna go into this hodgepodge. Evan Shacklett, Eric Johnson, Patrick Perryman, and Tristan Nosek. So the points for, Shacklett and Eric are both putting up some respectable numbers, but nobody is scoring on them. A solid 118 scored against Eric Johnson and a 127 on Evan Shacklett. They do have to face each other this upcoming week, so hopefully that'll change.
Look forward to somebody getting a loss there.
And then Patrick and Tristan serving up a solid 131 and 113 for Tristan for the points for category, as we've seen 3 teams put up more than 113 in a week.
Oh, that's fair.
Let alone in these 2 combined weeks for Tristan. So heart goes out to that tough division.
Yeah, I will say another note from that division. I will say the second highest points against is in that league. So it does seem that Hodgepodge seems to be running into each other at the worst time somehow. Not really sure how that happens, but we got break debaters with a whopping 224.9 after 2 weeks going up against it. So you don't like to see that. If you're the Braid Debaters, I don't know necessarily what you do. That obviously is setting you back with 2 losses. So you just hold on tight and you say, I'm going to weather this storm and see what happens, because the rest of your league is nowhere close to that. But that's just the only other notable thing from that division as far as groundbreaking points against things are concerned.
Next, we got the middle tier and the roommates. Connor sitting up top with a 177. And then you have Tiz, Reeves, and Gid all around that 130, 140 mark. And the same on the points against is close to that. Pretty sure Michael Reeves didn't live with any of them, even though the division's called the roommates. That's my main argument there. So that's just a lie, and I don't like that. But yeah, as we see there, nobody's putting up crazy numbers, and they get to play each other and benefit and flourish with having a mediocre week and pulling out a W.
So who's the one sitting on top of that league? It's Connor Fulkerson. So the complaints that we're going to have is Connor Fulkerson and his success and playoff-bound gameplay so far this season. Asterisk? Is it tainted by the league? I mean, I know the commissioners put this league together, but I also know there's a lot of league changes right before we started the league, and that introduced a couple of players that maybe weren't so sure about their talent. So I just want to throw it out there. The roommates, we definitely need to keep an eye on that.
Now, let's just strum it on down to the enemies. I don't know how that happened. Luke Stoltz sitting atop with a whopping 251 points for, doubling a couple people in that. Caleb with 208, the two teams putting up over 200 points for, and one of them has a loss. And then you go down to Ben Pompelli, a 169, where he would be second in the roommates, and then he would be a close third in the hodgepodge league. And then,
not to mention, he is the most points against in the whole entire league.
Solid 255, but somehow pulled out a W.
Still pulls out a W.
There's that luck factor. And then the Poor Horse Hunters, 151, also would be number 2 in the roommates and be number 3 in hodgepodge. And he has 204 against him, starting out 0-2. That's not fun.
I will say the Horse Hunters look hungry, and they're going to be going up against a still hurt All-Tier Champions Team 2 team. So
it could be like the it's definitely a direct correlation with the SEC, where they just kind of beat up on each other, and everyone pays for it. But we know who ends up being championship. One of
the SEC
aka an ACC team. So someone's going to put up a ridiculous number in the championship and not deserve it.
I will call the co-commissioners out. I do believe there was collusion involved in the enemy's team. Yeah, are there great rivalries? No doubt about that. There's absolutely great rivalries, and we look forward to those. But at the same time, my goodness, people, my goodness. Okay, this is just a little much, but yeah. Whatever. That's all we have to say about that.
All right. Well, we're going to go into a little segment we have called Weekend Observations.
Very good.
Wow.
Good stuff there.
We're going to start off hoping that you like this, because it's going to happen for one song and one song only.
It's only goes once. It's not on loop. I'll kick us off here.
All right.
DJ.
Meet 2K.
CJ.
He can scoot. I watched it.
AJ.
Runaway.
UK.
They're going to go undefeated.
Come on now.
Undefeated. Go Cats. Cats by 90.
Come on.
All right. Lamar Jackson, give me those keys, because the lease on your Heisman house is up.
Wow. Boxing? What happened? I don't care. I really don't.
Boxing corrupt? Who'd have thought? Duh? Wow.
Tennessee. Bust. Tennessee. Good try.
Tennessee. The only 10 I see is that pass from Felipe Franks. Wow. That's big. Wow. Jared. Not Goffle? Carson. Wentz there? Yeah. Tom Brady turning back the clock.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He's turning back the clock.
Trevor Siemian. John Gruden quarterback camp. It all goes back to that. Trevor Siemian. Elite quarterback? Le'Veon Bell. Bust.
Yeah.
DeMarco Murray. Bust. Ezekiel Elliott. Bust.
Boys, those were the weekend observations.
Man, it's good. It's good.
Wow. So we're going to move on and go into the matchups this upcoming week. You're still in your division, so you're going through with your last division matchup.
Yeah.
So we'll go through that, and we'll get the StoneCold Locks of the week, which mean you're probably going to get them wrong.
Absolutely.
We've seen that firsthand. Cool.
Doesn't mean you don't make bold statements, though. Doesn't mean you don't make bold statements. And I'll kick us off with my bold statement for sure. Is I've actually got the Inglorious Bradfords upsetting Sylvania's finest.
Wow.
Yep, I know it's a big matchup. I know that it is crucial for Inglorious Bastards. Bradford's not to go 1-2. Obviously, you can still come back from that. But Sylvania's finest about to go 3-0. Want to pull back the momentum there. I really do think Russell Wilson is going to go off on Tennessee And I think it's going to be a good game for
I'm
Alex Tisver.
I'm gonna just make sure there's a W in the column, and the Bright Debaters versus Team Nosec, who it's gonna be a fine if you don't change that name. I'm just gonna say someone's gonna win. I'm gonna go with someone's gonna win on this one, and someone's gonna get in the winners column, and one's gonna be 0-3 and one's gonna be 1-2. So that is my Stone Cold Lock of the week. But we'll go through. We'll start out with slot shaming and Team Jitterbug. The projected right now, based on the lineups that are in, it's going to be a real barn burner. 93 to 91. I'm going to, take a step back and let you do this breakdown.
Wow. Okay. So I've got, we're mentioning, the slot shame Jitterbug. I appreciate you being a little unbiased, giving yourself here a little space to wiggle. And when I look at it, I mean, Drew Brees, I really do feel like he's going to put up some solid points. I don't think anything in Carolina is going to slow him down. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think it's going to be a shootout, and so I think anybody with Cam Newton and Drew Brees are going to be happy. I think Derek Carr is going to make a big move as well, but as you go down the line, I look for Hunt to actually level out. I want him to actually be normal and actually play just a normal game, so looking to see that. Jordan Howard's going to be interesting how you manage him, but at the same time, I think he's going to come back alive. Both him and Cohen, the big waiver wire pickup, were held to, just a combined 3 points. So it's not like the whole entire Bears offense, and it was just Jordan Howard that struggled. It was the whole entire Bears offense as a whole. So look for them to come back alive. I don't see Bryant getting a touchdown next week. I just don't. So sorry. Pittsburgh's going to lock him down. Good for you anyways, Pittsburgh, for them to come and win. And then the last kind of touch on it is, I have got Gio Daviccio or whatever from Oakland. I got him dropping a 20-piece. So how you manage that's going to be tricky, but the kicker's going to drop 20 points for Luke Stoltz.
Wow, that's big. That means I'm going to lose. So moving along, Eric Johnson, Gronky Kong. It's good to see one of these teams going to catch a big fat L, so that's always nice.
Honestly, my matchup of the week, I'm really looking forward to watching that.
Yeah,
up and down, all around.
It's going to be good.
Big question is Evan Shackle going to have time to manage his team with a baby on board?
Wow.
That's a big deal, honestly.
How do you balance that?
I've never had a baby before, so I don't know.
We wouldn't know, so good luck.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, you're going to have a little bit of fluctuation. Obviously, Crabtree isn't going to have the same week, but maybe Cam plays a little bit better, get some more TDs. So, like I said, it can go back, and maybe Doug Baldwin. Now that pickup is in the lineup that he didn't have. Made that trade, so Doug Baldwin instead of Emmanuel Sanders. We'll see how that works out for him. Mm-hmm. On the side of Eric, I think little Shady McCoy. I think he's going to start getting into his groove, but the bad thing is he's playing against Denver, and we saw how that worked out for Zeke with a better offensive line, so I don't really know how that's going to go. Jameis going against Minnesota, which is a solid defense, but at the same time, the Bucs looked amazing in their first game, so we don't really know how that's going to go. I think Diggs will bounce back. Dez will probably go down. There's been a lot of complaints in that locker room, so we'll see. And Kelsey, kind of go in between of the first game and the second game, try to find that middle ground. And Marshawn just keeps putting up numbers.
Yeah, he does.
So we'll see. I think this will definitely be a barn burner.
Going to be a good game. I do have a blowout, though, I think on my hands, unfortunately, and I actually have My Cool Squad, the breakdown between My Cool Squad and Hop Off My D-Tiz, which I think that name will actually change by the week. I'm not very sure. I also know that this is the team that did not put a player in for the starting lineup 1 week. So, don't know if it's going to change.
I'm big on fines. We're going to implement this fine system.
Right now, it is showing that this team is actually going to lose by 12 points, which is a little skewed because Greg Olsen is actually out. So we'll see. He'll put in Kobe Fleener, and that's another.
He'll put in OBJ probably.
5.9. That's another 6 points, but. That being said, I got My Cool Squad blowing out Gideon, unfortunately, just because I think Kirk Cousins is really going to arrive on the scene here. And I also think...
It's Oakland. Wow.
Yeah, and I also think Fournette is still going to do his thing against Baltimore. It's going to be a ground and pound game. There's going to be a lot of running. And I think Fournette's going to get over 30 carries. So that being said, I do think you need to watch out for Jimmy Graham. It says that he's projected 7.2, but it also says he's questionable for Sunday, so that'll drop him down. But I think regardless, my cool squad's going to beat Gideon by a solid 20 piece.
Yeah, this whole matchup, it could go either way. They have people who just can put up crazy numbers, and you got some people who can put up big old goose eggs. So it's up in the air for me. I'm not as solid on it as you. We'll move on to that.
Pass it over to that Mel Gibson. I want to give it to you so I don't talk myself.
Okay, I'll break that
this
down.
Week.
We have the Mel Gibson Horse Hunters and all-time Tier 2 champions. So, what can I say? It's not fun with this matchup. Poor Brad. He's projected to win right now. He's made some adjustments putting Dak back in. Hopefully, Zeke plays a lot better.
Honestly, the worst thing that could probably go for him is that he's projected more than me. That's probably the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah, that's rough. I put him as my StoneCold Lock. I'm sorry. And Connor did me as his, so, it's just not working out doing that. So, your receivers, Alshon Jeffrey and Macklin, I think this week they'll kind of go a little bit backwards. Maybe you get one TD out of them and not as many yards compared. Obviously, C.J. Anderson isn't going to have the week he had. That doesn't mean he's not going to have a good week. He just went bonkers. Carlos Hyde, I like Carlos Hyde. He did good for me last year.
Yep.
He got hurt, so that's okay. But he went back against a good defense last week, and he didn't score a touchdown, but he put up 120 yards. Mariota against Seattle, who knows? He's kind of up and down last week. That was probably the biggest flaw of your game against me, which is crazy. Yeah, hopefully Jordy is 100% healthy and doesn't, flake out earlier. That's just a bad draw for Brad against Luke. I also think this is going to be a pretty close game, and the projections agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Going to Patrick and Tristan.
Yep.
This game, like I said, somebody's going to win.
Mm-hmm.
The addition of Mike Evans into Patrick's lineup, I think, is really big. I think it helps him out a lot.
I think the big conversation here is going to be the battle between DeMarco Murray and Le'Veon Bell. Mm-hmm. Because honestly, Le'Veon Bell hasn't proved that he's as much more value than DeMarco Murray anyways. And it's projecting him at 17.6, which I think is ridiculous.
Right.
Because he's produced under 8 every single game.
I think if Patrick can get around the 25-point mark for his running backs, that would be huge for him because those have kind of been not helping him. So maybe Christian McCaffrey will get a little bit more going in a game against New Orleans where they're both just trying to score a lot. And then hopefully DeMarco Murray can get a little goal line touch or something like that where he can punch it in. But like I said, really like Mike Evans. Larry Fitzgerald, he can still catch TDs. So, and then obviously Aaron Rodgers against Cincinnati is something to get excited about on that side.
Mm-hmm. Good breakdown there. I think Aaron Rodgers does stay alive, and I do think that Tyler Eifert continues to struggle, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of points coming in Team NoSec's favor.
Yeah, that's Cincinnati.
Because I just don't think it's going to be clicking a lot, and that also hurts Reeves with A.J. Green, so we'll see how that works.
He got the pickup for Emmanuel Sanders in that trade, so we'll see how that ties in. Hopefully it works out for him as much as it worked out for Evan, hence him trading him. I don't know. Hello. But yeah, those are all the matchups of this week. So we'd like to thank our live studio audience for being here with us. It was great. Our first live match.
Absolutely.
Live show. Glad you guys could turn it out.
Big shout out to our last supporter, the 2K18. If you haven't got it yet, go purchase it.
You don't want me on the sticks.
Yeah, it's been running in the background this whole entire time. We're big supporters of 2K18. Go get it yourself. Go find out.
Well, that is episode 3 of Starting Drama. We hope you enjoyed it. There will not be an intro this week. Sorry, I forgot my computer. So old Benny P will be uploading this one to probably his YouTube channel. So
you'll get the link in the group me no matter what.
Yeah, we'll see if he struggles as much as I do with that whole shindig. And then, once again, next week, episode 4, the guest is up in the air. Let me know if you got some free time on a Tuesday. That would help out a lot. And we'll get all of you involved. Deuces.